Ji-won Lee lay on her back under a vintage Harley motorcycle. Grease covered her hands and stained her blue coveralls. She was 17 years old, but she had been working in her family's repair shop since she was 8. The wrench in her hand turned smoothly as she tightened the last bolt on the engine. It was Saturday afternoon in their small coastal town. The shop smelled like oil and metal. Tools hung neatly on the walls. Motorcycle parts filled the shelves. This was Ji-won's favorite place in the world. Her father had left early that morning. He went to a parts supplier conference 3 hours away. He would not return until Monday. This meant Ji-won was in charge of Lee's auto and bike repair for the whole weekend. She did not mind being alone. Actually, she preferred it. When her father was gone, nobody questioned her decisions. Nobody double-checked her work. She could just focus on the machines. The Harley above her was 60 years old. The owner said 3 other mechanics had given up on it. They said the engine was too old to fix, but Ji-won found the problem in 20 minutes. A simple timing issue. She smiled as the engine purred to life when she tested it. She rolled out from under the bike and stood up. Her black hair was tied back in a ponytail. Grease smudged her cheek. She wiped her hands on a rag and checked the time. 3 in the afternoon. The bell above the shop door rang. 3 teenage boys walked in. They wore matching black leather jackets with Coastal Crew written on the back. Their boots were expensive. Their jeans were designer brands. Ji-won recognized them immediately. Everyone in town knew the Coastal Crew. They were local bike racers who liked to show off. They rode custom motorcycles that cost more than most cars. They raced on the coastal highway every weekend. The leader was Marcus Rodriguez. He was 18, tall, with perfectly styled hair. His 2 friends followed behind him. Devin was 17 with a shaved head and multiple earrings. Tyler was also 17, quieter than the others with nervous eyes. Marcus looked around the shop. His eyes passed over Ji-won like she was part of the furniture. "Hello, anyone here? We need a real mechanic." Ji-won stepped forward and wiped her hands again. "I can help you. What do your bikes need?" All 3 boys turned to look at her. Marcus's eyebrows went up. Devin laughed. Tyler just stared. "Where's Mr. Lee?" Marcus asked. He did not look at Ji-won directly. "My father is at a conference. He won't be back until Monday. I'm the mechanic on duty." Ji-won kept her voice calm and professional. She had dealt with this reaction many times before. Devin stepped closer to Marcus and whispered something. Both boys laughed. Tyler looked uncomfortable. "No offense," Marcus said, though his tone suggested he did not care about offending anyone. "But we need serious work done. These bikes cost $40,000 each. They're precision machines." "I understand," Ji-won said. "What seems to be the problem?" Marcus finally looked at her properly. His eyes were dismissive. "We have a big race tomorrow. Against the Bay City Riders. We need tune-ups, maybe some adjustments. But honestly, we should probably wait for your dad or go somewhere else." Devin nodded. "Yeah, these aren't lawnmowers or scooters. They're custom racing bikes. No offense, but do you even know what a carburetor does?" Something flashed in Ji-won's eyes. She walked to the wall where certificates hung in frames. "I'm a certified motorcycle technician. I've rebuilt over 200 bikes. I can show you my portfolio if you want." She pulled out a tablet and showed them photos. Custom builds. Racing modifications. Complete engine overhauls. Each photo showed professional quality work. Marcus barely glanced at the screen. Anyone can hang certificates on a wall. Anyone can take pictures of someone else's work. "That's my work," Ji-won said quietly. Her patience was wearing thin. "Look," Tyler spoke for the first time. His voice was softer than his friend's. "We just need someone experienced. Tomorrow's race is really important. We can't take chances." Ji-won took a deep breath. "Bring your bikes inside. Let me at least look at them. Free assessment. If I see something I can't handle, I'll tell you honestly." Marcus exchanged looks with his friends. Devin shrugged. "Fine, but we're not committing to anything." They went outside and rolled 3 beautiful motorcycles into the shop. Each bike was a work of art, custom paint jobs, chrome that gleamed under the shop lights, expensive modifications everywhere. Ji-won circled the first bike slowly. Her practiced eye caught problems immediately. She knelt down and examined the brake pads. "When did you last change these?" "I don't know. 6 months maybe?" Marcus said. "They're almost worn through. These are dangerous." She moved to the suspension. "Your front fork is leaking oil. And listen," she tapped the engine with her knuckle. Hear that? Your timing is off by at least 2 degrees. She moved to Devon's bike. Your transmission is grinding. You've got metal shavings in your oil. That's serious damage building up. She checked the wheels. Your front wheel alignment is wrong too. Tyler's bike was last. G1 frowned as she examined it. Your engine block has a crack. It's small now, but if you push this bike hard, it could split completely. That could cause a catastrophic failure at high speed. She stood up and faced the 3 boys. All 3 bikes have serious issues. If you race tomorrow without fixing these problems, you're risking your bikes. Maybe your lives too. Marcus's face hardened. You're just trying to scare us into expensive repairs. Classic mechanic trick. I'm telling you the truth, G1 said. Your bikes are not safe to race. Devon laughed again. Come on, Marcus. She's just trying to make money off us. Our bikes are fine. Your bikes are not fine, G1 insisted. The brake wear alone should worry you. And that cracked engine block is— We'll take our chances, Marcus interrupted. He gestured to his friends. Let's go. We'll find a real shop, Tyler hesitated. Maybe we should listen to her about the brakes at least. Tyler, let's go. Marcus was already rolling his bike toward the door. Devon followed, then Tyler. At the door, Marcus turned back. No offense, but stick to oil changes and tire rotations. Leave the real work to people who know what they're doing. You mean people who look like you? G1 said quietly. Marcus stopped. What's that supposed to mean? You came in here asking for a real mechanic. You saw certificates, saw photos of my work, heard my assessment, but you won't listen because I'm 17 and I'm a girl. That's not— Marcus started. It is, G1 interrupted. You made up your mind before you even talked to me, Devon called from outside. Marcus, come on. We're wasting time. Marcus looked at G1 for a long moment. Something flickered in his eyes. Maybe doubt, maybe shame, but then his pride won. Good luck with your dad's shop. Hope you don't mess up anything important. They left. The sound of 3 expensive motorcycles roared to life outside. Then they were gone. G1 stood in the empty shop. Her hands clenched into fists. She was used to being dismissed. It happened all the time. People saw a teenage girl and assumed she could not possibly know about engines and transmissions. But it still hurt. It still made her angry. She returned to the Harley and finished her work. An hour later, as she was cleaning tools, she heard sirens. 2 police cars raced past the shop, heading toward the coastal highway. At 5 o'clock, a customer came in to pick up his car. He was an older man who lived down the street, did you hear? He said. Those coastal crew kids crashed their bikes. All 3 of them. G1's stomach dropped. Are they okay? Yeah, nobody got seriously hurt. But their bikes are totaled. Completely destroyed. They were doing practice runs for tomorrow's race. Pushed them too hard, I guess. All 3 bikes failed at the same time. The man shook his head. Stupid kids. Always showing off. They're lucky they didn't kill themselves. After he left, G1 sat down at her father's desk. She thought about the worn brake pads, the leaking suspension, the cracked engine block, the timing issues. She had warned them. She had told them exactly what would happen. They had not listened. Part of her felt satisfied. They had insulted her, dismissed her, questioned her expertise. Now they knew she was right. But another part felt bad. They could have died, all because they were too proud to listen to someone they thought was beneath them. G1 looked at the wall where tomorrow's race schedule hung. The coastal crew had been the favorites to win. Now they could not even compete. She wondered if they would remember her warnings. She wondered if they would regret ignoring her. Probably not, she thought. People like that never learned. She locked up the shop and went home. But she could not stop thinking about those 3 wrecked bikes and 3 proud boys who learned a hard lesson about judging people by their appearance. Sunday morning arrived with bright sunshine. G1 opened the shop at 8 o'clock, 2 hours earlier than usual. She had not slept well. Images of those 3 damaged motorcycles kept appearing in her mind. She made coffee and started organizing the parts inventory. Her father always said a clean shop meant a clear mind. She needed her mind clear today. At 9 o'clock, she heard a truck engine outside, then another vehicle. She walked to the window and looked out. A tow truck sat in the parking lot. On its flatbed were 3 motorcycles. They were not just damaged. They were destroyed. Marcus's bike had a twisted frame. The front fork bent at an impossible angle. The engine looked crushed. Devon's bike was missing pieces. The transmission hung loose. Both wheels were warped and broken. Wires dangled from the torn electrical system. Tyler's bike was the worst. The engine block had split completely in half. Gauges were shattered. The exhaust pipe looked like someone had hit it with a hammer. A black Mercedes pulled up behind the tow truck. A man in an expensive suit stepped out. He was older, maybe 50, with gray hair. Behind him came Marcus, Devin, and Tyler. All three boys looked terrible. Marcus had a bandage on his arm. Devin limped slightly. Tyler's face was pale and tired. But they were alive. That was something. Jiwon walked outside. The morning air was cool. The man in the suit approached her. "Are you Jiwon Lee?" "Yes," he extended his hand. "I'm Roberto Rodriguez, Marcus's father." His handshake was firm. His eyes were serious. "May we talk inside?" Jiwon led them into the shop. The three boys stood together near the door. They would not look at her. Their pride was gone. Now they just looked scared and ashamed. Mr. Rodriguez got straight to the point. "My son told me what happened yesterday. How you examined their bikes. How you warned them." "I did," Jiwon said. "He also told me they ignored your warnings and insulted you." Mr. Rodriguez's jaw tightened. "I apologize for their behavior." Marcus finally looked up. "I'm sorry. We were stupid. We were wrong." Devin nodded. "Really wrong." Tyler added, "You tried to help us." "We were jerks." Jiwon crossed her arms. "Why are you here?" Mr. Rodriguez sighed. "The race is today. It starts at 2 o'clock. The boys have already registered. They accepted sponsorship money from local businesses. If they don't race, they have to return all that money. Plus, they'll be banned from future races for backing out. But their bikes are destroyed," Jiwon said. "I know." Mr. Rodriguez looked at the wrecked motorcycles outside. "That's why we're here. We need your help," Jiwon almost laughed. "You want me to fix those bikes? By 2 o'clock? That's 5 hours from now." "We know it's impossible," Marcus said quietly. "But you're our only option. Every other shop is closed on Sunday. And even if they were open, nobody could fix them in time." "Please," Tyler said. "We know we don't deserve your help. But we're begging you." Jiwon walked to the window and looked at the destroyed bikes. Any normal mechanic would say no immediately. The job was genuinely impossible. Those bikes needed weeks of work. Professional equipment. Replacement parts that would take days to order. But something stirred inside her. A challenge. A chance to prove what she could really do. "Let me look at them properly," she said. The tow truck driver helped her unload the bikes. Jiwon examined each one carefully. She took notes. She measured damage. She calculated what she would need. After 30 minutes, she stood up. "Honestly, these bikes should be in a professional shop for 2 to 3 weeks minimum. Each one needs major reconstruction." The three boys' faces fell. "However," Jiwon continued, "I might be able to do something. It won't be pretty. It won't be perfect. But I might be able to get them race-ready by this afternoon." Marcus's eyes widened. "Really?" "Maybe I'd have to work nonstop. Use every trick I know. Improvise with parts I have in stock. And I'd need help." "We'll help," Devin said immediately. "Whatever you need." "We'll do anything," Tyler added. Jiwon looked at each of them. "If I do this, I have conditions." "Name them," Mr. Rodriguez said. "First, you three work under my direction. You follow every instruction exactly. No questions. No arguments. No doubting my methods." "Agreed," Marcus said. "Second, if you complain even once, the deal is off. You leave and figure it out yourselves." "We won't complain," Devin promised. "Third," Jiwon's eyes hardened, "when I finish these bikes, you tell everyone who fixed them. No hiding it. No being embarrassed that a 17-year-old girl saved your race." Marcus stepped forward. He extended his hand. "You have our word." "On everything." Jiwon shook his hand. Then she turned to Mr. Rodriguez. "I need to be honest about something. This job could fail. The bikes might not work, or they might work but fail during the race. There's serious risk here." "I understand," Mr. Rodriguez said. "But you're giving us a chance. That's more than we deserve." He pulled out his wallet. "I'll pay triple your normal rate, plus a bonus if you finish on time." "I don't want extra money," Jiwon said. "Just pay the normal rate." "This isn't about money." "Then what is it about?" Marcus asked. Jiwon looked at the three wrecked bikes. "Proving that skill matters more than what people assume about you." She clapped her hands together. "Okay, here's how this works. Marcus, you're on parts cleaning. Devin, you organize tools and bring me whatever I ask for. Tyler, you document everything for insurance and take photos of each repair stage. Got it, all three said together. Jiwon grabbed a notepad and started writing a list. I need to call another shop for emergency parts. Some things I just don't have in stock. She made 3 phone calls. The owner of a shop 2 towns over agreed to open his store for her. She gave him a list of parts. He promised to deliver them within an hour. Okay, Jiwon said. She tied her hair back tighter. Put on her work gloves. Let's start with Marcus's bike. It's the most damaged. If I can fix that one, I can fix anything. She rolled Marcus's bike into the center of the shop. The twisted frame made her wince. This was going to be incredibly difficult. Watch and learn, she said. And someone ordered pizza. We're not stopping until these bikes are ready. The next 2 hours were intense. Jiwon worked with a plasma cutter, carefully removing the twisted sections of Marcus's frame. The boys watched in amazement as she measured angles, marked cutting lines, and sliced through metal like it was butter. Why are you cutting the frame? Marcus asked. Because it's twisted beyond repair. I'm removing the damaged sections and will weld in reinforcements. Jiwon did not look up from her work. Hand me that steel rod, Devin. Devin grabbed the rod and passed it to her. She positioned it carefully, then started welding. Sparks flew. The smell of hot metal filled the shop. Tyler took photos of every step. He had never seen anyone work like this. Jiwon moved with absolute confidence. Every movement had purpose. No wasted motion. By 11 o'clock, the emergency parts arrived. Jiwon barely looked up.
Devin, check the boxes.
Make sure everything is there. Devin went through the boxes and confirmed all parts were present. Jiwon finished welding Marcus's frame. She had cut away the twisted sections and added custom reinforcements. The frame was now actually stronger than the original. Marcus, start cleaning the engine parts, she said. Use the parts washer over there. Everything needs to be spotless before I can reassemble it. Marcus had never cleaned engine parts before. His expensive bikes had always been maintained by professional shops. He had never even changed his own oil. But he followed Jiwon's instructions carefully. He learned quickly. By noon, pizza arrived. They ate while Jiwon worked. She did not stop moving. Her hands were covered in burns from welding. Grease stained her coveralls. But her eyes were bright and focused. You're amazing, Tyler said quietly. Jiwon glanced at him. I'm doing my job. No, Devin said. Tyler's right. This is beyond just doing a job. You're creating solutions out of nothing. Jiwon allowed herself a small smile. That's what good mechanics do. We make impossible things possible. By 1 o'clock, Marcus's bike was taking shape. The frame was repaired and reinforced. The engine was partially reassembled, but there was still so much to do. We're running out of time, Marcus said, checking his phone. Don't think about time, Jiwon said. Just focus on the work. Time will take care of itself. She moved to Devin's bike. The destroyed transmission was her next challenge. She examined the damage and frowned. This transmission is completely gone. I need to replace it. She walked to her parts inventory and started searching. I don't have an exact match, but I might have something that will work. She found a transmission from a different bike model. This wasn't designed for your bike, but I can modify it to fit. Is that safe? Devin asked. Trust me, Jiwon said. And somehow they did. The afternoon continued. Jiwon worked at an incredible pace. She taught the boys as she went, explaining what each part did, why certain measurements mattered, how engines spoke their own language. Marcus found himself fascinated. I've ridden bikes for 3 years and never understood any of this. That's the problem, Jiwon said while adjusting valves. People use machines without respecting them, without understanding them. That's dangerous. Tyler was documenting everything. He realized he was watching a master at work, someone who had studied for years, someone who had earned their expertise through countless hours of practice. They had judged this girl by her age and appearance. They had been so wrong. As the clock moved toward the deadline, all 4 of them worked together. The 3 boys had become her assistants, following orders, learning, helping, and slowly, impossibly, 3 wrecked motorcycles began to transform back into racing machines. Time became meaningless inside the shop. The afternoon sun shifted to evening light. Then evening became night. The boys had called their parents to explain they would be out all night. Nobody complained. Jiwon was in what her father called the zone, that state where a mechanic becomes one with the work. where problems solve themselves through pure focus and experience. By 6 o'clock in the evening, Marcus's bike was 70% complete. The frame was solid. The engine was reassembled. But the electrical system and suspension still needed major work. Jiwon moved between all three bikes constantly. She would work on one problem, then switch to another while waiting for parts to cool or adhesive to set. Her efficiency was remarkable. "How do you keep track of everything?" Devin asked. He was exhausted just watching her. "Practice," Jiwon said simply. She was rewiring Marcus's electrical system. Her fingers moved quickly, stripping wires and making connections. "After you rebuild 100 engines, you don't need to think about the steps anymore. Your hands just know." Tyler brought her a bottle of water. She drank without stopping her work. "Can I ask you something?" Tyler said. "Sure. Why are you helping us?" "We were terrible to you yesterday." Jiwon paused. She looked at the three bikes, then at the three boys who had spent hours following her instructions without complaint. "Because you came back," she said finally. "You admitted you were wrong. You apologized. Most people can't do that. They let their pride win." She returned to the wiring. "Also, I wanted to prove something. To you and to myself. That I belong in this shop. That my skills are real." Marcus, who was cleaning parts nearby, spoke up. "You've already proved that." "About 100 times over tonight." "Maybe," Jiwon said. "But I needed you to see it. Really see it." By 8 o'clock, they ordered more food. Chinese takeout this time. They ate quickly, barely tasting the food. Fuel for their bodies, nothing more. Jiwon taught them about torque specifications. "See this wrench? It clicks when you reach the right tightness. Too loose and the part falls off. Too tight and you strip the threads or crack the metal." Devin tried it himself under her guidance. The wrench clicked. He grinned. "I did it." "Good," Jiwon said. "Now do the same thing 19 more times on those bolts." The boys were learning that mechanic work was not glamorous. It was repetitive, precise, demanding. Every bolt mattered. Every connection could mean the difference between a working machine and a dangerous failure. Tyler's hands were covered in small cuts from handling sharp metal edges. Marcus's back ached from bending over engines for hours. Devin's arms were sore from carrying heavy parts, but nobody complained. They had promised they would not. More than that, they did not want to. They were part of something now. Part of an impossible mission. Around 10 o'clock, Jiwon hit a serious problem. Devin's bike needed a new engine block. The old one was destroyed beyond repair. She had hoped to patch it, but the damage was too severe. "I don't have a replacement," she said, "and we can't get one delivered tonight." The shop went quiet. This was the kind of problem that could end everything. Then Jiwon's eyes lit up. "Wait here." She disappeared into the back room. The boys heard her moving things around. Drawers opening and closing. Tools clanging. She returned carrying an old engine block. It was dusty and looked ancient. "This is from a different bike model," she explained. "Different manufacturer, different year, different specifications. But the basic design is similar." "Can you make it fit?" Marcus asked. "I don't know. I've never tried this before." Jiwon set the engine block on her workbench. "But we're going to find out." What followed was 2 hours of intense engineering. Jiwon measured the old engine block and the new space it needed to fit. She calculated angles, drew diagrams, planned her approach. Then she started modifying the engine block itself. She used a drill press to create new mounting holes, a grinder to reshape certain edges, custom brackets she fabricated from steel plate. The boys watched in absolute awe. "This is like surgery," Tyler whispered. "It is surgery," Jiwon said, "just on metal instead of flesh." By midnight, she was ready to test fit the modified engine block. She lowered it carefully into Devin's bike frame. It did not fit. Too wide by a few millimeters. Most people would have given up. Jiwon adjusted her measurements and ground down the edges slightly. Tried again. Still too wide. She adjusted again. Tried again. Failed again. "Maybe we should give up on this bike," Devin said quietly. "Focus on the other two." "No." Jiwon's voice was firm. "If I give up now, I'll always wonder if I could have done it. We're not stopping." She modified the engine block again. This time she also adjusted the frame mounting points slightly, creating new spaces where none existed before. On the 6th attempt, the engine block slid into place. "Yes," Marcus shouted. All three boys cheered. Jiwon allowed herself a tired smile. "Now I have to actually attach it and hope it works." The next 2 hours were spent securing the modified engine block, creating custom connections for the fuel lines, electrical systems, and exhaust. Nothing was standard. Everything was improvised. By 2 in the morning, all 3 boys were struggling to stay awake. But Jiwon kept working. Her eyes were red from exhaustion. Her hands shook slightly, but she did not slow down. "How are you still going?" Marcus asked. "Coffee and determination," Jiwon said. But the truth was deeper than that. She was doing what she loved, solving problems that others said were impossible. This was when she felt most alive. At 3 o'clock, Devon's bike was finally ready for testing. Jiwon turned the key, hit the start button. The engine coughed, sputtered, then roared to life. The sound was beautiful, strong, healthy. The modified engine block worked. Tyler pumped his fist in the air. "You're a genius." "I'm a mechanic," Jiwon corrected. But she was pleased. They had overcome the biggest obstacle. Now only Tyler's bike remained, and that was going to be the hardest one. Tyler's bike had the cracked engine block that Jiwon had warned about. It had split completely during the crash. The internal damage was severe. "I need to basically rebuild this entire engine from scratch," Jiwon said. "Using whatever parts I can salvage plus whatever I have in stock." She dove into the work. The boys helped where they could, but mostly they just passed her tools and watched her work. Her knowledge was encyclopedic. She knew which parts from completely different engines could work together. She understood tolerances and specifications that the boys had never heard of. As she worked, she shared stories about learning from her grandfather's old Korean mechanic manuals, about her father teaching her to listen to engines, about the hundreds of mistakes she made before becoming skilled. "Everyone starts somewhere," she said while grinding a valve. "The key is not giving up when things get hard." By 4:30 in the morning, Tyler's engine was reassembled. But there were still problems with the electrical system. Wires had been torn out during the crash. The whole system needed to be rebuilt. Jiwon worked methodically, color-coding wires, testing each connection, making sure every circuit was complete. Marcus, Devon, and Tyler fought to stay awake. They made more coffee, splashed cold water on their faces, walked around to keep their blood moving. At 5 o'clock, the sun was starting to rise outside. Golden light crept through the shop windows. "We're almost there," Jiwon said. She was installing the last components on Tyler's bike. Just the suspension and final checks. The boys felt a second wind. They could see the finish line now. Jiwon replaced Tyler's damaged suspension with parts from her inventory. She calibrated each bike's systems, checked tire pressure, tested brakes, adjusted mirrors. By 6:15 in the morning, all 3 bikes were complete. They sat in a row in the shop, silent, waiting. Jiwon looked at them with exhausted pride. "Let's see if they work." She started Marcus's bike first. The engine turned over immediately. Smooth, strong, perfect. Marcus's face broke into a huge smile. Devon's bike was next. The modified engine block proved itself. The bike sounded powerful and healthy. Finally, Tyler's bike. Jiwon turned the key and held her breath. The engine caught and roared to life. No strange sounds. No warning lights. Just pure mechanical music. All 4 of them stood there, covered in grease and sweat and exhaustion, looking at 3 bikes that should not exist, that had been destroyed, that were now better than before. "You did it," Marcus said quietly. "You actually did it." Jiwon nodded. She was too tired to speak. The shop was a disaster. Tools everywhere. Parts scattered across every surface. Grease on the floor and walls. Pizza boxes and food containers piled in corners. But 3 beautiful motorcycles sat ready to race. "You need to clean them up," Jiwon said. "And you should probably sleep for a few hours before the race." "What about you?" Tyler asked. Jiwon looked around at the mess. "I need to clean this shop. My father would kill me if he saw it like this." "We'll help," Devon said immediately. "No." Jiwon's voice was firm but kind. "You need to rest. Go home, sleep. Come back at noon to pick up your bikes." Marcus stepped forward. He looked like he wanted to say something important, but words failed him. Instead, he just bowed his head slightly, a gesture of deep respect. Devon and Tyler did the same, then they left. Walking slowly to Mr. Rodriguez's car, completely exhausted but also changed somehow. Jiwon stood alone in her shop. She looked at the 3 bikes, at what she had accomplished, 12 hours ago, everyone said it was impossible. Now here was the proof. 3 destroyed bikes rebuilt overnight. She allowed herself a moment of pride. Then she started cleaning. There was still work to do. Outside, the sun rose higher. Sunday morning had arrived. The race was in 8 hours, and 3 bikes that should not exist were ready to compete. Jiwon woke up at 11 o'clock. She had only slept for 3 hours, collapsing on the old couch in the shop's back office. Her body ached everywhere. Her hands were covered in small burns and cuts. But she felt good. She splashed water on her face and changed into clean coveralls. The shop was spotless now. She had spent an hour cleaning before finally letting herself rest. Everything was back in its proper place. The 3 bikes sat near the door, gleaming in the sunlight. She had cleaned them too, making sure every surface sparkled. They looked like professional racing machines. Nobody would guess they had been completely destroyed less than 24 hours ago. At noon exactly, Mr. Rodriguez's Mercedes pulled into the parking lot. Marcus, Devon, and Tyler stepped out. They looked refreshed. Clean clothes, showered, rested. "Good morning," Marcus said as they entered. He stopped when he saw the bikes. "Wow, they look incredible." Jiwon handed each of them their keys. "I did final checks this morning. Everything is perfect. But be careful during warm-up. These bikes have been through trauma. Treat them gently for the first few miles." "We will," Tyler promised. Devon walked around his bike, examining every detail. "I still can't believe you rebuilt this. In one night? It's like magic, not magic, just mechanical engineering and a lot of caffeine." Jiwon smiled slightly. Mr. Rodriguez approached with an envelope. "Your payment, plus a bonus because you exceeded every expectation." Jiwon took the envelope without opening it. "Thank you. Will you come to the race?" Marcus asked. "We want you there." Jiwon hesitated. She had planned to stay at the shop. Races were not really her thing, too loud. Too many people. "Please," Tyler added. "You should see your work in action." "Okay," Jiwon agreed. "I'll come, but I need to change first." An hour later, Jiwon arrived at the old airstrip where the race was being held. She had never been here before. The place was packed with people. Hundreds of spectators. Vendors selling food and drinks. Bikes everywhere. The sound was overwhelming. Engines roaring. Music playing. People shouting. But there was also excitement in the air. Energy. Jiwon parked her old pickup truck and walked toward the pit area. She wore clean jeans and a plain black t-shirt. Her hair was down for once, no longer tied back for work. As she walked through the crowd, she heard whispers. People pointing at her. She caught fragments of conversations. "That's the girl who fixed the Coastal Cruise bikes. Rebuilt them in one night, supposedly. I heard they were completely totaled." Word had spread fast. Small towns were like that. She found the Coastal Cruise pit area. Their bikes were lined up, ready for inspection. Marcus, Devon, and Tyler were talking with other racers. "Jiwon." Marcus waved her over. "Perfect timing. They're about to inspect the bikes." Race officials were moving through the pit areas, checking each bike for safety and rule compliance. They were serious professionals in official jackets. The head inspector approached the Coastal Cruise area. He was an older man with gray hair and sharp eyes. He had been inspecting racing bikes for 20 years. He started with Marcus's bike. His experienced hands checked the frame, the suspension, the brakes. His face showed confusion. "This frame has been reinforced," he said. "These welds are not factory standard. They're custom modifications," Marcus explained. The inspector examined the welds more closely. He seemed impressed. "These are excellent. Very strong. Who did this work?" Marcus pointed to Jiwon. "She did." The inspector looked at Jiwon with surprise. Then he moved to Devon's bike. He checked the engine and immediately noticed something strange. "This engine block is not original," he said. "No, sir," Devon said. "The original was destroyed. That's a modified replacement." The inspector spent 5 minutes examining the engine. He checked the mounting points, the fuel connections, the electrical integration. Finally, he straightened up. "This is remarkable work. This engine block is from a completely different bike model. Someone modified it to fit perfectly." He looked at Jiwon again. "You did this?" "Yes, sir," Jiwon said quietly. "In how much time?" "We had about 12 hours total." The inspector's eyebrows rose. 12 hours? For 3 bikes in this condition?" He gestured at all 3 motorcycles. "Young lady, this is master-level work. These bikes are not just repaired. They're improved, better than they were before. Other inspectors had gathered around, curious about what their colleague was so excited about. They examined the bikes too, murmuring to each other. Taking photos. These bikes exceed race standards, the head inspector announced. They're approved for competition. A crowd had formed around the Coastal Cruise pit. Other racers wanted to see the bikes everyone was talking about. Mechanics from other teams examined Jiwon's work with professional interest. Among the crowd was the rival crew, the Bay City Riders. Their leader was Jason Kim, 18, tall and confident. His girlfriend Brianna Park, also a racer, stood beside him. Both wore expensive racing suits. Jason pushed through the crowd to look at the bikes. His expression was mocking. Heard you guys crashed yesterday. Had to get Daddy's money to buy new bikes? These are the same bikes, Marcus said calmly. No way. Jason laughed. These look factory new. Brianna examined Devon's bike closely. She knew her machines. Jason, I think he's telling the truth. Look at this frame reinforcement. This is repair work, not factory design. Jason's mechanic, a professional from an expensive racing shop, also studied the bikes. His face showed grudging respect. These were rebuilt. Recently, too. The welds are still fresh. Who did the work? Brianna asked. Marcus nodded toward Jiwon. She did. All 3 bikes. In one night. Jason looked at Jiwon. His expression shifted from mockery to disbelief. You're kidding. I'm not, Marcus said firmly. Jason's mechanic approached Jiwon. You rebuilt 3 crashed bikes in 12 hours? Yes, Jiwon said. That's not possible, Jason said. It takes our shop 2 weeks minimum for that kind of damage. Well, she did it, Devon said. We were there. We helped, Brianna seemed impressed. That's incredible. What shop do you work for? Lee's Auto and Bike Repair, Jiwon said. My family's shop? Wait, Jason said. You're the Lee girl? I've driven past that shop. It's tiny. Small shop, big skills, Tyler said. Jason shook his head. He did not want to believe it. Okay, so you slapped them together with spare parts. Let's see if they actually work in a race. Probably fall apart after 1 lap. They'll work, Jiwon said quietly. She met Jason's eyes with calm confidence. Something in her expression made Jason pause. This girl believed in her work completely. No doubt at all. We'll see, he said finally. He walked away with his crew. More people approached Jiwon. Other racers. Mechanics. People asking questions about her techniques. She answered politely but felt overwhelmed by the attention. Finally, Marcus pulled her aside to their prep area. You okay? You look uncomfortable. I'm not used to crowds, Jiwon admitted. You can watch from here. You'll have a good view of the track. The races began at 1 o'clock. First, preliminary heats to determine who would advance to the finals. Marcus, Devon, and Tyler were in different heats, racing against different opponents. Jiwon watched nervously. These were her bikes, her work. If they failed, if something went wrong, it would reflect on her. Marcus's heat was first. He lined up next to Jason. Both bikes revved their engines. The sound was deafening. The flag dropped. Both bikes exploded forward. Marcus's bike handled beautifully. The suspension modifications Jiwon had made gave him better control through the turns. Jason's bike was faster on straightaways, but Marcus could take corners at higher speeds. They raced side by side at 95 miles per hour. The crowd roared. On the final turn, Marcus used his superior handling to take the inside line. He pulled ahead by half a bike length and crossed the finish line first. The Coastal Cruise pit area erupted in celebration. Jiwon felt relief wash over her. The bike worked. It held together under extreme stress. Devon's heat was next against Brianna. Both were skilled riders. The race was close throughout, but Devon's modified engine gave him an advantage. The unusual power curve caught Brianna by surprise. She tried to match his acceleration but could not. Devon won by a full second. Tyler's heat was almost anticlimactic. His bike, which had the completely rebuilt engine, ran flawlessly. He won easily. All 3 Coastal crew members advanced to the finals. During the break between heats and finals, several things happened. First, Jason's mechanic approached Jiwon. I need to apologize. When I first heard about your overnight rebuild, I thought it was amateur work. But these bikes are professional quality, better than professional. Thank you, Jiwon said. Where did you learn that frame reinforcement technique? I've never seen it before. From my grandfather's notebooks. He was a mechanic in Korea in the 1970s. Racing culture was different there. The mechanic nodded thoughtfully. Would you consider consulting for our shop? We could use someone with your innovative thinking. Ji-won was surprised. Maybe, let me think about it. Second, a reporter from the local newspaper found her. A young woman with a camera. Are you Ji-won Lee? The reporter asked. Yes. I heard an amazing story. About you rebuilding 3 destroyed motorcycles overnight. Is it true? Ji-won did not like attention, but she answered honestly. Yes, it's true. Can I interview you after the race? Our readers would love this story. I guess so, Ji-won said hesitantly. Third, a veteran female racer approached. She was in her 40s with silver streaks in her hair. Her name was Lisa Chen, and she had been racing for 25 years. I wanted to say something, Lisa said. We need more women in this scene. Both riding and working on bikes. What you did last night, that's inspiring. You're showing people what's possible. Ji-won felt a surge of pride. Thank you. That means a lot. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong here. As the final race approached, Ji-won felt nervous but also excited. Her bikes were about to face their ultimate test. Marcus, Devin, and Tyler gathered around her for final adjustments. How did the bikes feel? She asked. Perfect, Marcus said. Better than before the crash, Devin added. I trust this bike completely, Tyler said. Ji-won made micro-adjustments to each bike's fuel mixture, checked tire pressure, made sure everything was optimal for the track conditions. You've done everything you can, she told them. Now it's up to you. Ride safe. Ride smart, Marcus looked at his friends, then at Ji-won. No matter what happens in this race, we've already won. We learned what real skill looks like. We learned to respect expertise regardless of who has it. The engines roared to life. The final race was about to begin, and Ji-won's work was about to prove itself in front of everyone. The final race had 6 riders, 3 from Coastal Crew, 3 from Bay City riders. The format was elimination style. After each round, the slowest rider would be cut. The last 3 would compete for the championship. Ji-won stood in the pit area, her heart pounding. Hundreds of people lined the track. The afternoon sun was hot. The smell of racing fuel filled the air. All 6 bikes lined up at the starting position. Engines revving. Riders focused. The flag dropped. 6 bikes exploded forward in a roar of engines and speed. Ji-won watched Marcus's bike handle the first turn beautifully. The suspension she had rebuilt kept him stable at high speed. Devin's modified engine powered him ahead on the straightaway. The unusual engine block gave him unexpected acceleration. Tyler rode conservatively, playing it smart. His completely rebuilt engine performed flawlessly. The first round ended. The slowest rider was eliminated. A Bay City rider Ji-won did not know. All 3 Coastal Crew members advanced. Yes, Devin's father shouted from the crowd. Between rounds, Tyler noticed something wrong. His bike was pulling slightly to the left. Ji-won, he called her over urgently. She knelt beside the bike and checked quickly. Your rear tire is losing pressure. Probably picked up something on the track. There were 90 seconds until the next round started. Can you fix it? Tyler asked. Ji-won's mind raced. No time to change the tire. She made a quick decision. She adjusted the suspension on the opposite side to compensate for the pressure loss. This is risky, she told Tyler. But it should hold. Just trust the bike. I trust you, Tyler said. Round 2 began. 5 bikes now. The competition was fiercer. Jason and Marcus battled for the lead. They were perfectly matched. Jason's expensive factory bike versus Marcus's rebuilt machine with Ji-won's improvements. Through the turns, Marcus had the advantage. His handling was superior, but Jason could match him on straight sections. Brianna pushed Devin hard. She was an excellent rider, aggressive but smart. Devin used his power advantage to stay ahead. Tyler's compromised tire made his bike unstable, but Ji-won's suspension adjustment worked. The bike stayed balanced despite the problem. The round ended. Another Bay City rider was eliminated. 4 bikes remained. Marcus, Devin, Tyler, and Jason. The crowd was going wild. Nobody had expected all 3 Coastal Crew members to make it this far. Ji-won watched with pride and anxiety. Her work was succeeding beyond her expectations. But there was still one more elimination before the championship round. Round 3 would determine the final 3 competitors. The 4 bikes lined up. This was a pure speed trial. Fastest 3 times would advance to the championship. Marcus went first. His bike screamed down the track. The rebuilt frame held perfectly under maximum stress. His time, 52.3 seconds. Devin went second. His modified engine showed its true power. 51.8 seconds. Tyler went third. Despite his tire issue, he pushed hard. 52.9 seconds. Jason went last. He knew he needed a fast time. His expensive bike had raw power, but something went wrong on the final turn. He pushed too hard and had to slow down to avoid losing control. His time, 53.4 seconds. Jason was eliminated. The crowd erupted in shock and excitement. All 3 Coastal crew members had made the championship round. A complete podium sweep was possible. Jason pulled off his helmet. His face showed disbelief and frustration. He had expected to win easily. Instead, he had been beaten by bikes that were destroyed just yesterday. He walked over to where Jiwon stood. For a moment, she thought he might say something mean, but instead he extended his hand. "Your bikes are incredible," Jason said. "I thought they'd fall apart. But they're better than my factory machine." Jiwon shook his hand. "Thank you. No, thank you. You taught me something today. About judging people by what they can do, not by assumptions." Brianna joined them. "Those bikes are amazing. After this race, I want to talk to you about working on mine." Jiwon nodded. Okay. The championship round was about to begin. But first, there was a 30-minute break. Jiwon inspected all 3 bikes carefully. Marcus's was perfect. Devin's was running strong. Tyler's tire was now critically low on pressure. "I need to change this tire," Jiwon said. "There's no time," Tyler said. "The championship starts in 20 minutes. "Then I work fast." Jiwon grabbed her tools. Marcus and Devin helped her. They jacked up Tyler's bike and removed the damaged tire. Jiwon had a replacement in her truck. She ran to get it. Installing a tire normally took 45 minutes. Jiwon did it in 18. The tire was on. Pressure checked. "Everything's secure. You're a magician," Tyler said. "I'm just fast," Jiwon replied, but she was sweating from the rushed work. The championship round was announced. The 3 finalists would race against each other. Winner takes the trophy. Marcus, Devin, and Tyler looked at each other. They had started as teammates, crashed together, been rebuilt by the same person. Now they had to compete. "May the best rider win," Marcus said. "But we're all winners already," Devin added. Because of Jiwon, Tyler finished. They approached the starting line. The crowd was massive now. Everyone wanted to see this race. Jiwon stayed in the pit area, her hands clasped together. She had done everything she could. The bikes were perfect. Now it was up to the riders. The flag dropped. 3 bikes launched forward in perfect synchronization. The sound was incredible. Marcus took the early lead using his superior handling through the first turns. Devin stayed close behind, waiting for a straightaway to use his power advantage. Tyler rode defensively, conserving energy for the final push. They raced clean. No dangerous moves. No trying to knock each other off course. Just pure skill and speed. On the second lap, Devin made his move. He used his engine's power to pull alongside Marcus. They raced side by side at 100 miles per hour. Tyler stayed back watching, learning their patterns. Third lap, Marcus and Devin were still fighting for first place. Tyler had been conserving his energy. Now he made his move. He used the draft from the other 2 bikes to build speed. On the final straightaway, he shot between them like a missile. The crowd roared. All 3 bikes crossed the finish line within half a second of each other. It was too close to call with the naked eye. Officials reviewed the electronic timing system. The announcement came over the loudspeakers. First place, Marcus Rodriguez. Time, 1 minute, 47.23 seconds. The Coastal crew pit area exploded in celebration. Second place, Tyler Chen. Time, 1 minute, 47.38 seconds. Third place, Devin Martinez. Time, 1 minute, 47.51 seconds. A complete podium sweep. All 3 spots taken by Coastal crew. The crowd went crazy. This had never happened before in the history of the local racing circuit. Marcus raised his fist in the air. Devin and Tyler rode over to him. They stopped their bikes and hugged each other, still wearing their helmets. Then Marcus looked at the pit area. At Jiwon, he rode his bike directly to where she stood, stopped, pulled off his helmet. "This is yours," he said, handing her the first-place trophy. "No," Ji-won said. "You won it. We couldn't have even started without you. You didn't just fix our bikes. You made them champions." Devon and Tyler arrived with their second and third-place trophies. They also tried to give them to Ji-won. She stepped back. "These are your trophies. You earned them by riding well. And you earned recognition for building them," Marcus insisted. The crowd had gathered around them. Cameras were filming. The local news had arrived. The reporter Ji-won spoke to earlier pushed through with her microphone. "Ji-won Lee, your rebuilt bikes just swept the championship. How does that feel?" Ji-won was uncomfortable with all the attention, but she answered honestly, "I'm proud of the work. I'm proud of these riders. They trusted me, and I delivered." "Is it true you rebuilt these bikes in one night after they were completely destroyed?" "Yes. That seems impossible. A lot of things seem impossible until someone does them." The reporter smiled. "What's next for you?" Ji-won had not thought about it. "I guess I go back to my shop and keep doing what I love." Marcus stepped forward. "Actually, we have a proposal for you." Ji-won looked at him with surprise. "We want to officially sponsor your shop," Marcus said. "Our bikes will advertise your work at every race in the regional circuit," Devon added. "And we want to learn from you. Real mechanical training," Tyler finished. "Not just how to fix things, but how to understand machines." Ji-won was overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Marcus said. Before Ji-won could answer, a woman in professional clothes approached. She had been watching from the crowd. "Excuse me," the woman said. "I'm Sarah Chen, a recruiter from State Technical University." She handed Ji-won a business card. "We saw videos of your work. That frame modification technique and engine adaptation show senior-level engineering knowledge. We'd like to offer you early admission to our mechanical engineering program. Full scholarship." Ji-won stared at the card. "A university scholarship. A real engineering education. You don't have to decide now," Sarah said. "But think about it. Someone with your practical skills and innovative thinking could become an exceptional engineer." More people approached. Other race teams asking for her services. Mechanics wanting to learn her techniques. Sponsors interested in her shop. Ji-won felt dizzy. Yesterday she was just a mechanic that 3 boys dismissed. Today everyone wanted to know her. The race organizer made an announcement. "We have an unusual situation. All 3 championship positions were taken by bikes rebuilt by the same mechanic. Ji-won Lee, please come to the podium." Ji-won did not want to go, but Marcus, Devon, and Tyler gently pushed her forward. She walked to the podium. The 3 boys stood on their respective positions, first, second, and third place. The organizer continued, "In recognition of exceptional mechanical achievement, we're creating a special award. The Technical Excellence Award, going to Ji-won Lee for rebuilding 3 destroyed motorcycles in 12 hours and proving that skill and determination can accomplish the impossible." He handed Ji-won a plaque. The crowd applauded. Ji-won looked at the plaque, looked at the 3 boys on the podium who had learned to respect her, looked at the crowd of people who now knew her name. She thought about yesterday, the insults, the dismissal, the doubt, and she thought about last night. The impossible work, the determination. "The success, thank you," she said into the microphone. Her voice was quiet but clear. "This teaches us something important. Don't judge people by how they look or how old they are. Judge them by what they can do. Give everyone a chance to prove their skills. You might be surprised." The crowd applauded again. As Ji-won stepped down from the podium, she felt different, confident in a new way, not just confident in her skills, which she had always been, but confident in her worth. In her place in this world, Marcus approached her. "Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming back," Ji-won said, "for admitting you were wrong. Not everyone can do that." "We learned from the best," Marcus said. Evening was falling. The race was over. People were packing up to leave. Ji-won walked to her truck. Her phone was buzzing constantly with messages and calls. Word had spread across social media. Videos of the race were going viral. She sat in her truck for a moment, processing everything that had happened. Her life had just changed completely. And it all started because she refused to give up on an impossible task. She started the truck and drove back to her shop. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, new people who wanted her skills. But tonight, she just wanted to sit in her quiet shop and think about what she had accomplished. She had proven herself. And that was enough. Monday morning arrived with bright sunshine. Jiwon got to the shop early, expecting a quiet day to recover from the weekend. She was exhausted but satisfied. Instead, she found 5 motorcycles parked outside the shop. 5 customers were waiting for her. She unlocked the door, confused. "Can I help you?" A young man stepped forward. "I saw videos of the race yesterday. I need someone who can do custom work on my bike." Another customer added, "My transmission has been making weird sounds. 3 shops told me it needs replacing. I want you to look at it." Jiwon's phone buzzed. She checked it. 23 missed calls. 37 text messages, all inquiries about bike repairs. She stood there, overwhelmed by the sudden attention. Her father's car pulled into the parking lot. Mr. Lee stepped out, carrying his weekend bag. He stopped when he saw the line of customers. "What's going on?" he asked Jiwon. "I had an interesting weekend," she said. Inside the shop, Mr. Lee listened as Jiwon explained everything. The crashed bikes, the overnight rebuild, the race, the championship sweep. He walked through the shop, examining the documentation she had kept of all her work. Photos of each repair stage, notes on her modifications, diagrams of her custom solutions. He picked up one of her diagrams. It showed the frame reinforcement technique. "This is grandfather's method. From his old notebooks." "Yes," Jiwon said nervously. "I hope that's okay." Mr. Lee smiled. It was a proud smile. "Your grandfather would be very happy. He always said these techniques were too valuable to be forgotten." He studied more of her documentation. "You did a complete engine block adaptation. That's extremely difficult, I know. But it was the only option." Mr. Lee set down the papers and looked at his daughter, really looked at her. Not as his assistant, but as a fellow mechanic, an equal. "I've been waiting for this," he said quietly. "Waiting for what?" "For you to be ready. To take on the impossible. To prove you're not just good, you're exceptional." He gestured at the customers waiting outside. Now everyone else knows it too. The phone rang again. Mr. Lee answered it. "Lee's Auto and Bike Repair." "Yes, she's available for consultations. Let me check her schedule." He covered the phone and looked at G1. "It's a professional racing team. From 3 states away. They want to hire you for custom modifications." G1 felt her world expanding. Over the next few hours, Mr. Lee helped her handle the sudden business boom. They scheduled appointments, took detailed notes on each customer's needs, organized the workflow. At lunchtime, Marcus, Devin, and Tyler arrived. They brought food, but also something else. "We talked to our parents," Marcus said. "We want to set up an official sponsorship with your shop. Our bikes will have your shop's logo at every race. We'll recommend you to everyone in the circuit. Plus," Devin added, "we want to start real training. Not just how to fix things when they break. We want to understand how machines work. Mechanical fundamentals," Tyler said. "Engineering principles. Everything you know." Mr. Lee overheard this conversation. "That's an interesting idea. A training program. Would that be possible?" Marcus asked. Mr. Lee looked at Jiwon. "What do you think?" "I'd like that," Jiwon said. "Teaching helps me understand things better too." That afternoon, an unexpected visitor arrived. Jason Kim, the rival racer, brought his motorcycle. "I want a full rebuild," Jason said. "Take your time. Do it right. I don't want a quick fix. I want your quality work." "Why?" Jiwon asked. "You have an expensive shop that maintains your bike." "Because yesterday I learned something," Jason said. "I've been racing for 3 years and never understood what actually makes these machines work. I just threw money at problems. But you understand them. Really understand them." He looked embarrassed. "Also, I want to learn basic maintenance. If I'm going to race, I should respect the machine. Respect the people who keep it running." Jiwon appreciated his honesty. "I can teach you. Weekly lessons on basic mechanical work." "I'd like that," Jason said. As he was leaving, Brianna arrived. She had 2 younger girls with her, both around 14 years old. "This is my sister Minji and her friend Hana," Brianna said. "They saw you at the race. They've been talking about you nonstop." The 2 girls looked at Jiwon with shy admiration. "Can you show us how engines work?" Minji asked quietly. "We want to learn," Hana added. "But everyone says girls can't be mechanics." Jiwon felt something stir in her chest. She remembered being their age, facing the same doubts, the same people saying she could not do it. Everyone can learn, Ji-won said. It just takes patience and practice. She brought them into the shop and set up an old lawnmower engine on a workbench. For the next hour, she taught them the basics: how engines convert fuel to power, how pistons move, how each part depends on the others. The girls asked intelligent questions. They listened carefully. Their eyes lit up when they understood something new. Brianna watched with a smile. I wish someone had taught me this when I was their age. It's never too late, Ji-won said. If you want to learn, I can teach you too. Over the following days, the shop transformed. More customers came. More people wanted Ji-won's expertise. The phone never stopped ringing. Mr. Lee watched his daughter handle everything with growing pride. She was professional with customers, patient with students, confident in her assessments. One evening after the shop closed, he sat down with her. I need to tell you something, he said. I was planning to retire in a few years, pass the shop to you and maybe travel with your mother. I know, Ji-won said, but now I'm thinking differently. Instead of retiring, maybe we expand. Expand how? We create a real training center. Teach the next generation of mechanics properly. Young people like those girls today, like Marcus and his friends. People who want to learn but don't have access to good education. Ji-won felt excited by the idea. That would be amazing. We'd need more space, more equipment. Maybe hire another mechanic to help with the regular work while you focus on training and custom projects. And what about the university scholarship? Ji-won asked. Sarah Chen's offer was still on her mind. Mr. Lee thought for a moment. Take it, get your engineering degree. The shop will still be here. And when you come back with formal education to match your practical skills, we'll build something even bigger. 2 weeks later, a new sign went up at the shop. Lee's Auto and Bike Repair, Master Technician Ji-won Lee. Below it, a smaller sign. Youth Training Program, Accepting Applications. The first class had 7 students. Minji and Hana, Marcus, Devin, and Tyler, Jason, and a shy 16-year-old boy who had seen the race videos online. Ji-won stood in front of them in the shop's new training area. Tools were organized on the walls. Safety equipment ready. Educational materials prepared. Welcome, she said. You're here because you want to learn. Not just how to fix things, but how to understand them. How to respect machines and the work that goes into maintaining them. She gestured at the engines and parts around them. Everything you see here follows logical principles. Physics, engineering, mathematics. If you understand those principles, you can fix anything. Build anything. Create solutions where others see only problems. The students listened intently. But the most important lesson isn't about machines, Ji-won continued. It's about people. Don't judge someone's abilities by their age, gender, or appearance. Judge them by their skills and knowledge. Give everyone a chance to prove what they can do. Marcus raised his hand. We learned that lesson the hard way. Good, Ji-won said. Now teach it to others. The first class went well. Ji-won discovered she enjoyed teaching even more than she expected. Breaking down complex concepts into simple parts. Watching understanding dawn on students' faces. Seeing their confidence grow. After class, Mr. Lee approached her. You're a natural teacher. It feels good, Ji-won admitted. Passing on knowledge. Opening doors for others. That weekend, Ji-won received an acceptance packet from State Technical University. Full scholarship. She could start in the fall while continuing to work part-time at the shop. She also received something else. A letter from the Regional Racing Association. They wanted her to be an official technical inspector for next month's big championship race. Her phone buzzed with another job inquiry. This one from a professional racing team on the West Coast. They had seen videos of her work and wanted to fly her out for a consultation. Ji-won sat in the shop's small office, surrounded by opportunities she never imagined possible 2 weeks ago. Her father knocked on the door. Busy? Just thinking, she said. He sat down across from her. About what? About how everything changed. One weekend. One impossible task. And suddenly my whole life is different. That's not quite accurate, Mr. Lee said gently. Your life didn't change because of one weekend. It changed because of years of preparation. Years of learning. Building skills, developing expertise. The weekend just gave you a chance to show what you had already become. Ji-won thought about that. He was right. The overnight rebuild was impressive, but it was only possible because of years of practice before it. "So what do I do now?" she asked. "Whatever you want," her father said. "You've proven yourself. Now you get to choose your path. University, training center, professional consulting. Maybe all of them." "That sounds exhausting," Mr. Lee laughed. "It will be. But you've never been afraid of hard work." Saturday evening, the shop was closed. Jiwon was alone, organizing tools and cleaning workbenches. The routine work felt comforting after the chaos of recent days. Someone knocked on the door. Jiwon looked up to see a young woman standing outside. Maybe 19 or 20 years old, Jiwon opened the door. "We're closed, but I can schedule you for Monday." The woman looked nervous. "I'm not here for repairs. I'm here for advice." "About what?" "I'm starting at a technical school next month. Automotive program. But everyone keeps telling me girls don't make good mechanics. That I should choose something else. Something more appropriate." The woman's eyes were uncertain but determined. "Then I saw your story online. The race, the impossible rebuild, and I thought, if she can do that, maybe I can do this." Jiwon understood immediately. She saw herself in this young woman. "Come in," Jiwon said. "Let me tell you about an impossible night." She led the woman inside the shop, showed her the tools, the workbenches, the completed projects. "People will doubt you," Jiwon said. "They'll question your abilities before you even get a chance to prove yourself. They'll assume you can't do something based on how you look, not on what you know." "How do you deal with that?" the woman asked. "By being so good they can't ignore you. By doing the impossible. By proving that their assumptions are wrong." Jiwon picked up a wrench, but mostly by not letting their doubts become your doubts. "Know what you're capable of. Believe in your skills." The woman nodded slowly. "Thank you." I needed to hear that. After she left, Jiwon stood in her shop looking around at the space that had become her proving ground. On the wall hung the trophy from the race. Below it were photos of her students, both the teenage girls and the reformed bikers, pictures of completed projects, custom builds, challenging repairs that others said were impossible. Her phone buzzed one more time. Another job inquiry. This one from a motorcycle museum that needed someone to restore vintage bikes. Jiwon smiled. The work would never stop coming now. But that was fine. She loved the work. She thought about the university scholarship waiting for her, the training program she was building, the opportunities spreading in every direction. But mostly she thought about that moment 2 weeks ago. Standing in front of 3 destroyed motorcycles, being told the job was impossible, and deciding to do it anyway. That was the moment everything changed. Not because she suddenly became skilled, but because she finally had the chance to show the world what she had always been, a master mechanic, a problem solver, an engineer who could turn wrecks into champions. She turned off the shop lights and locked the door. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new students, new impossible tasks. But tonight she just wanted to enjoy the quiet satisfaction of knowing she had earned her place. Through skill, determination, and the courage to prove everyone wrong. She walked to her truck, tired but content. In the distance, she could hear motorcycles on the coastal highway. The sound made her smile. Those riders trusted their machines, trusted the mechanics who maintained them. And now some of them trusted her. That trust was earned. That trust was deserved, and that made all the difference.